There we go. Welcome to the 3-year anniversary of me streaming on every single weekend. Well, pretty much every single weekend. Mostly. I think I've made up for it. What's everybody talking about already? Hello Moonring, Zachary, Adrianeth, Nikolai, Celestial Mercury. Gosh, you guys have been busy. Hello Cole, Zachary. Michael, Christopher, Lysander, Brian, the Horned King, Thomas, Chris, the Dishonored Coward, hello. Yeah, thought I'd actually don a suit today. And I will be enjoying some of my mead shine, which this is highly ill-advised. Oh, of course it's a formal event. I'm just going to pretend you're dressed up, okay? This stuff. Oh, cheers. Oh, that's breakfast. Woo. Okay. Good morning. No problems with giant waves. No, the tsunami was greatly exaggerated, I'm afraid to say. Yeah. Oh yeah, the still. Okay, so people were asking me about the still, right? So this is a still that you can buy just online in New Zealand. So what I do is I brewed up a batch of mead, as I normally do. I've got some bottles of mead here, which I'm going to be drinking as well. So here's my bottles of mead. This one's unlabelled. Actually, I'll crack one open now, somewhat to clear the palate. Hopefully it's not going to explode all over me. Yep, this one's good. So this is just honey from the King Country area of New Zealand. It's got a high manuka content, water and yeast. And what I did was I poured 20 litres of this into this, basically a hot water cylinder that just heats it up like a boiling kettle that you know, like if you're at a big camping ground or something. This was like a zip kettle. And it boils away inside there. And once it reaches an output heat on this tower here of about about 56 to 60 degrees, from this condenser it will produce a stream of alcohol which comes out of here, and these two pipes here are basically just the water flowing through inside this tower here. So all it does is it condenses the alcohol from a steam state into a liquid state again. And inside here are all these basically little metal ring things that just increase the surface area there for the cooling. Thanks, Donald. Are there pants? Yes, yes, there's pants. This is a full suit. Yes, there's pants. So, cheers, everybody. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, it's really sweet. Here's to all the years of getting deeply nerdy. Yep, true. The Gripply are in the Candlekeep book. That's awesome. I can definitely cover the Gripply then. Nice. Thanks, Kikas. I'm just going to pop out the chat here so I can see what's going on and I don't have to look out to the side all the time. There we go. Now it looks like I'm looking at you. What was the alcohol content of your shine? I've got some apple spiced mead here to complement what you drink. Happy anniversary, 3 years of the best. Thanks, man. So this stuff is about the same as wine. It's about between 14 and 18%, I think. I've never actually measured the specific gravity of the mead because I just don't care. It does the job. So when I distill it, it all comes out the same. It comes out about 93% pure alcohol. So you can't drink that because it will produce too much. It will do nasty things to your body as your body tries to metabolize it too fast. It makes what is it? Acetate. And acetate does nasty things in your body. There's a precursor to the acetate where it breaks it down into another substance which is like a carcinogen in your body, and then it breaks it down into acetate, which then gets split into carbon dioxide and oxygen inside your liver mostly. But it can also do nasty things to your gallbladder and things like that. So you don't drink very, very, very strong alcohol. It's not good for you. So this is watered down with it's down to about 42% alcohol. But it's still really strong. As you can see by my reaction when I drink it. But if I was to drink this and it was like 93%, it would be like drinking paint that you just don't want to do it. Oh. Okay, that went down a bit smoother. Whoa. So it's got a it's got a straight up alcohol taste, but it's got a very nice smooth beeswax aftertaste, I should say. It's like honey without the sugar, tastes like that beeswax taste. Thanks, Michael. $33.33. Cheers to 3 years. Thanks, man. Happy 3rd anniversary. Oh yeah, degrees Celsius, yeah, obviously. So this takes about 5 hours or so to distill out about, you can only get as much alcohol as the sugar that you put in. So if you put in 6 kgs of sugar into that 18 to 20 litres or so, it'll produce about 5 or 6 litres of alcohol. Three years of fire! Watered down to 42%, that's right. Yeah. If you've got the first 50 milliliters or so of alcohol out of your still, and it tastes like has got sweet sort of bubblegum smells or like paint, nail varnish, nail polish remover smells. That's all of the harmful sort of, well, not exactly harmful, they're just less pleasant, and probably give you a horse kick of a hangover. So you basically just put that aside as waste alcohol, and the rest of it will be much purer through a still. Hey, thanks, Trajan. Have a great day, AJ. Thank you for all the amazing content, and I hope you give us many years of it. I certainly plan on it. If I don't drink myself into a stupor on this live stream and end up embarrassing myself horribly. Thanks, Nick. Oh, that was a bit soon. Ooh, you can really feel that going all the way down. Watered down to bourbon levels. Mead tastes like honey. Really, it's a honey wine, right? Yeah. Alcohol makes really good cleaning liquid. I cleaned my dad's windscreen with it. He had some sticker marks left on there. So this is sweet, much sweeter. It's like a dessert wine sweet. Because I didn't have the fermentation carry on inside the bottles, I stabilized it. And it's just nice. It's got it's a little bit like flatter and less sharp than wine. Because the sweetness adds roundness to it, and it's got a lot of characteristics that come through from the honey, which I'm not paying much attention to because I'm drinking it for effect. Thanks, Watercone. Makes great cleaning liquid, yeah. Congrats on 3 years of your videos, which have helped me through a long ride. It's about 5 years of videos. This is 3 years of live streaming on the weekends. But I suppose these are videos. Yeah, no, yeah, you're quite right. Sorry, I'm being pedantic there. Hey, Nick, thank you. Thank you so much for doing what you do and keeping the old lore stuff alive. Absolutely. Absolutely. And long shall it continue. Boy, I better slow down on this stuff. I'll re-pour. How do you think they're going to connect the two multiverses between D&D and Magic the Gathering? My prediction would be that they would introduce something like a Planeswalker character, and that the only way to get there would be through either magical artifice, like Jeremy Crawford did in his adventure, like some sort of machine that pulls you out of one multiverse and throws you all the way to the other one, or through the Far Realm. Good afternoon, evening, or in my case, morning. Yeah, that's a good point, Stephen. Generally, if what you're about to drink smells like paint remover, stop and consider your life choices. Yeah. Like, I made this stuff, so... I made it, so I know what I'm doing. You're quite right, Mr. L. How does one join the DM's Guild? It's not that kind of a guild. Basically, it's a guild in that the material must be approved to be on there. So it needs there's certain criteria which I've never really bothered to learn. That means that it's a certain quality level or some such that it goes on there. It must abide by the rules of the open license. The Eldrazi are not from the Far Realm. They're from the region between multiverses. They're from a place where nothing should be able to exist. As far as I'm aware, the Eldrazi are in a place of non-existence. What, the gifts for 3-year anniversary? Basically, cut loose and get a shine on in my live stream. Who's the smartest? Thank you, Robert. Who's the smartest between Vector, Lolth, and Asmodeus? Asmodeus is. Yep, for sure. I can't even imagine the amount of stuff that Hail AJ Avatar of Hogma. I'll take it. Oh yeah, I still want to see the Phyrexians in D&D as well. Absolutely. Thanks, Charles. Yeah, Asmodeus has got his fingers in so many pies. It's absolutely stunning. The annual gift for 3 years by tradition is leather. Very appropriate for a D&D gamer. Okay, so I'm going to take my leather-bound D&D books. Ooh. Do you remember these bad boys from last year? Oh, so sweet. So there's only two versions of this DM's guide. One is in the hot and greedy hands of the person that I sent one entire set to, and the other is mine, and she'll never leave my company. I was looking through, actually, Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes to see what monsters I haven't covered in this book so far, to see if I can finish it off and make another playlist. Because I've got a playlist of all of the monsters from the Monster Manual, so I might as well finish off the rest of them from Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes. But I'm also kind of on a kick at the moment of planar playable races. And I'm writing in the background, as we speak, a video on the Ratatosk. Thanks, Christopher. How would you use witchcraft and Demon Lord Rangda on page 78 in Creature Codex? I need a little help with ideas for implementing the concept in a campaign. Page 78 of the Creature Codex. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, let's do some technical D&D stuff on a drinky stream. This should be fun. But inspiration will always strike, no matter how inebriated I am. Okay, so my first impression of him is that he looks like a traditional entity from Malaysian folklore. This giant elderly woman with with long unkempt pendulous breasts and horrific claws. Hang on, unkempt hair, not unkempt breasts, and horrific claws. Cracks a crooked smile. Her face is horrifying, fanged mask with wild, protruding eyes, and her tongue is disturbingly long with curved spikes of bone along its edges. She is known as the Wretched Lover and the Rot Within, the Demon Queen of Witches. Worshippers are required to deliver the babes of mortals unto her once a year, and she delights in feasting on those offerings, often swallowing them whole. Okay, so she's a baby-eating demon queen of hags. That's interesting. Once the mortal lover of Barong is now his eternal enemy. So this definitely looks like it's based on like Malaysian folklore, I would guess. So her lair is nestled beneath an immense twisted tree strewn with corpse flowers and surrounded by Warlock's trample blooms, see page 372, deep in the vast bog of the abyss. The tree must reshape itself to grant access to the Witch Queen's abode. What if that tree was actually a twisted offshoot of Yggdrasil? I'm on an Yggdrasil kick at the moment. So you could actually travel into or out of the abyss on like a tributary of root and vine that connects to the world tree. Imagine that. Interesting. I kind of forgotten the second half of your question. I need ideas for help implementing her into a campaign. Yeah, so you're basically going to go off-world with these hag worshippers or cultists who perhaps want to employ the uses of hags or create more hags. And hags are wheelers and dealers and very, very, very evil. In fact, they're one of the most evil, straight up evil races in Dungeons and Dragons by my metric. Every time I encounter them, I'm just like, wow, these guys are off the charts evil. Yeah, and also hags create legacies of evil, much like the drow creates legacies of revenge and bitter hatred. The hags kill things just for fun and torture things for fun because they enjoy it. It's the only thing they do enjoy. Thanks, billions and billions. Congrats to 3 years. Have some... What is that word? Have some funds on me. I will be a licensed physician here in Sweden in a couple of weeks. Your videos and live streams have really helped winding down in sometimes stressful periods. Skull, thank you very much, man. And I'm sure you're going to bring health and prosperity to many people. Health and well-being. Nice. Your breasts are also unkempt, yes, someone. It's true. It's a common affliction. What's the cone? Your nipples are unkempt. Well, let's face it, nobody cares about our nipples. Ratatosk, yeah, the Ratatoska. I did a video on Ratatosk before, and that's how I actually met and got to know Taryn Pounds, who's turned into quite a good friend. Rhetoric, thank you. Can a Mind Flayer, Cult of Thune, eat a Petitioner brain? Oh, Petitioner brain. Yes, because they are incarnated physically on an outer plane. So they are actually physical beings, yes. So they can actually convert a Petitioner into a Mind Flayer. That's a good question. I never actually thought of that. Looks like some good apple juice. Very good. Whoa. What do I think about a group of Chaoti trying to revive Tharizdun in a level 16 to 25 quest? I would say that sounds entirely appropriate. Yeah. When are we going to get better audio for the Red Dragons video? Well, I basically have to redo the Red Dragons video. I had a hag, thanks Sanchgate, had a hag in my game, and when she cast spells, she snapped puppies and other cute animals in half. Ooh, appropriate, nasty, but appropriate, yeah. Like, I've got no problem with people doing adult things at the adult table that they play the adult game with their adult friends and things. We don't necessarily need to outdo each other on how horrible hags can be, and because that's really part of the social contract at your table, is that you're comfortable with the level of violence and sickness and depravity and stuff that's going on in your game. Some people have wildly different levels of comfort, obviously. Hey Juju Bear, are you trying to get me to say bad things? Hey Sir William. Oh, what was that? What's the name of the demon who, when he was struck in the coals by a barbarian's hammer, that was Yanogu. Mr. Eccentric, hey AJ, thanks. Congrats on the 3 years of streaming, although I've only caught 8. Oh, I'm glad you're keeping count. I could have swore it was more. I think I've just interacted with you more in the comments on videos. What about the dragons? Snapping Puppies does sound like the name of a band. What sort of band would it be, though? Thanks, Moonring. Happy anniversary, AJ. May you answer many more existential questions to come. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Agatha Harkness. Oh, yeah. No spoilers for The Vision. There's still many people who have not watched it. Ooh, what happens when a red dragon goes illithid? It turns into a brain stealer dragon. Ooh, It's a good point, Dishonored Code. Remember, if we count only the brains that actually belong to Mind Flayers, they have 0. That's true. Oh, that's nasty, Stephen. Death metal. Okay. Hello, Narok. See you later, Trajan. Thanks for joining me. Death metal grunge. Well, I appreciate it, Mr. Eccentric. Yeah, I really liked the how they handled the vision in that one. Hello, Stan. Hello to the UK. Did you get Stibble's Codex of Companions? No, I did not. Are the new dragon miniatures size accurate? Which ones? The ones from WizKids? Look, I always go for bigger when it comes to dragon miniatures. To hell with accuracy. It's true, Matt, I'm going to get a little bit messed up, but also I mass about 138 kilos, so I'm a big unit, and I can take a lot of alcohol. Possession is 9/10 of the law. Talking of possession, if Adrianeth is here, she can confirm this. Adrianeth, I'm going to go on record and say that I didn't kill Taryn's character. You killed Taryn's character. His dice did not help, but I mean, really, how much damage did anything other than your character really do. I was just described. Okay, so in one of my campaigns, the players ran into some ghosts, a couple of ghosts on a dwarven road, going towards some crypts and stuff. They weren't even at the crypts yet. And they didn't realize they were ghosts until one of the NPC's children, which is carried in like a little papoose backpack, turned around and said, "Mummy, who are they talking to?" Which is always a great trick to pull on players when they go out of the mouth of babes. And then they were like, "Oh no, ghosts are terrible," and they were, and one of the characters died. The Green Dragon's doing well. He's a little bit dusty at the moment. He's behind the still here. And also, maybe you can just make out in the distance there, you can just see the corner tip of a galleon on the edge of my dresser over there. Hey, Bane Rain. How would everybody feel? Oh, WizKids? Yeah, I think the WizKids ones are a little bit unimpressive in size. And that seems to be a general complaint. But the paint jobs that they've got on them is pretty good compared to like the first pre-painted miniatures that they came out with in their box sets and stuff. I think they've improved. Here to the big units. Whoa. You need more on the sledge. I pretty much did 2 videos on the sledge. That's right. We've got April coming up too. Another April 1st video. So I was thinking, there's monsters and aliens in sci-fi that I really, really like. And I was thinking about converting some of them to D&D and just throwing them out there for you to possibly include in your games. If you're like planar traveling and you're going to a new plane of existence or a new sphere and you want to throw them in there. Stuff that is not in any existing book. You're a fan of Sea Adventures? Nice. Hey, Sky. I was inspired by your green and red dragon video for alternate effects you can add to dragon breath weapons just for the sheer elemental power. Any other idea for other breaths? Kobold Press, I think, on their website has a D100 table of random breath weapon types, just for the fun of it. I recommend going and checking that out. Hey AJ, I figured out how to nuke anything in 5th edition by creation and teleport spells. Okay, Jeremy. I'm sure your DM is very pleased. The Xenomorph video, yeah, no, it's been a little bit overdone. I was thinking actually of the Trachea from the Uplift series by David Brin and the Jopur. If you know what I'm talking about, you should be like, ooh, stroke the wax my rings. What would be the stats on a Brainstealer dragon? I would say it would be a template that you apply over top of the existing dragon stats. Much like the Shadow Dragon. Hey Ruby, I'm good. Is Green Dragon Breath flammable? Not traditionally, no. It's chlorine gas. Do Nestor from Battle Beyond the Stars. I'm up for suggestions. If you do have any suggestions for monsters from science fiction novels and things like that, put them in the comments. My cat is destroying things. Put them in the comments below this video, not in the actual chat. It'll be easier for me to find later. Yes, Brian, Uplift is amazing. Nothing beats the weapon of the Orange Dragon. Well, Bahamut's breath weapon certainly does. Thanks, Adrianeth. Yes, I mean, okay, yeah, I'm throwing you under the bus, but I did kind of suggest that Witch Bolt was not an effective subdual attack. But I'm quite excited to meet Taran's new character anyway. Not that his old character was bad, but new character's always good. Have I read any of Brandon Sanderson's Cosmere novels? That could be some interesting critters in there, like Spren and Kandra. Stick it in the suggestions below. Any other channel updates to share? So Stan, I am working on, I've got a setup now, which allows me to better film from different angles stuff that I'm sculpting. So I am going to be putting together some sculpture tutorial courses for people to buy into if they want to. That will be probably a few months down the track. I don't know. I'll really work on it when I'm in the mood. Also, I'm looking at making some new merchandise for the store, so some t-shirts and things like that. I'm also looking for artists and animators. If anybody wants some artist and animator work and they think they're of a decent quality, get in contact with me for the Kickstarter that I'm running. So this is the presentation of the web page, and anybody who does like web design and stuff specifically around Kickstarter campaigns, let me know. This is paying work. Like we're talking thousands of dollars. So get in contact with me if you think you're at the thousands of dollars level of skill. So yeah, and if you know any artists and things like that who are looking for work, like I'm quite looking for portfolios and things like that, so they just send me off samples of their work and stuff, and we can talk business. So that's for the silicone products that I've got manufacturing over in China as we speak. I've got test samples and stuff that are winging their way over to me soon, and that includes the big battle mat with the grid on one side and the hex on the other, and also clear battle mats that we can put over top of TV screens and your own artwork and your own maps that you've printed out, that sort of stuff, to give you that VTT tabletop feeling in your home without great expense. And because it's silicone, it will last forever, and you can cook a pizza on it. We actually tested this. Hey, thanks, Donald. Hey, Demon Inquisition, thank you. Oh, hang on, I've missed a few. Kick-ass Duke, thank you. Bought a bunch of those paper dungeons and villages you promoted the other day, and reviews seem to talk about them being difficult to put together, so can you give some tips as a pro and type of paper too? Print them out on, if you can get access to an Epson Eco printer, which is the ones that have got the reservoir of ink instead of like the cartridges of ink, a refillable reservoir of ink in your printer. I think they call them Eco tanks. You want to print out on 110 GSM paper to give it that extra strength, and cut them using just like scissors. Don't bother with like Sharpies and things like whatchamacallit, precision cutter things. You can do if you want to, but I find it just like scissors. And use a glue stick. Ta-da! Glue stick. Hence, mighty glue stick. You just use these and fold them all together. And it's a very chill thing to do while you're just sitting and watching a movie or something like that, and you just keep it up. And after a while, you end up with a bag of them, kind of like the one I've got up there, which is lots and lots of pieces. And if you're sort of doing it for a purpose, plan out what you want to produce. You're going to need a lot of walls. Basically, count how many corners you have. Keep making wall pieces just until you get sick of it. But walls are really easy to put together. The ones that I quite like are just the ones that you construct like a box. The ones that are like uneven boulders and like the stair pieces and things, stairs and things are really tricky because it's like this. Yeah, lots of little fiddly bits to do, and you basically just glue it with pushing the two pieces together with your fingers from the inside. Demon Inquisition Clean Fit AJ special event. Yeah, this is my 3rd year anniversary of streaming every weekend, hence the suit and drinking some high-powered booze. Oh. Donald Mead, more money for referencing the Uplift series. Long live the Jofour. Thank you. David Brin is brilliant. I am a particular fan of his ideas of human evolution. A solid 10 by 10 by 10 foot bullet dropped from the troposphere. Yeah, that would pretty much do it. Hello, AJ. Do you have any take on anyone who has a really good take on Greyhawk history lore? Have you thought about doing a few videos yourself on the Greyhawk content. At the moment, the guys who actually wrote a lot of that content are streaming meetings with each other and chats and stuff, and those are quite illuminating at times. The thing with the Greyhawk content is that there's nowhere near as much precise material on it as the Forgotten Realms, and it's really oriented around the adventures and stuff that were published, and a lot of Dragon Magazine articles and things. So it's hard to research for people who are actually researching it. Although I highly recommend looking into it. As for channels that are doing it at the moment, I can't rank it, not to the extent that Jordan and I and Mr. Rex are doing stuff on Forgotten Realms. Because a lot of the people who do who were around and favour the old school D&D stuff, when they make YouTube channels, they tend to go with OSR products and things like that. So they do Dungeon Lord and Dungeon World and Osric and things like that. So tricky. It's a bit of a catch-22. But I do reference it on occasion. Emil, thank you. Yay, some crowns for you being deeply nerdy. Thank you very much. The Hills, happy anniversary. Thank you. Thank you. Robert Wilson, what class would Popeye the Sailor be? He would be a pugilist. For those of you who want a good copy of The Pugilist, go and check out the Dungeon Masters Guild and search under my name, and you should find the Rime of the Frost Maiden supplement that we did. Heroes of Frozen Far. Hey the Hills, welcome to Bronze Dragon. AJ the Entrepreneur. Yeah, it really is that like that this year. The thing I'm most looking forward to, like aside from just like how good the quality of these sheets are, so there's a generic character sheet, which is this one here, which is designed to be any character sheet that you want for any game system that you're running, and it's just a temporary character sheet that you got on your table, so it's like a scratch pad, so you can keep track of your hit points and inspiration points and spell slots and stuff like that, and just general notes and things on like keeping track of your money and your equipment and stuff. You don't want to mess up your actual character sheet, and going into your character sheet online and modifying it during play is a pain in the ass. So just having this, which you can play around with, and then afterwards, after the game, you go in and fiddle with the online stuff. There's also the tracker. Here we go. I've made a design change to this so that the 20 is up here now and it goes down to 1, because that's what we do when we're tracking initiative and stuff at tables. And this is basically just the same sort of deal. It's got some little squares up there for counting how many rounds or how much ammunition you've used. It's got a little square down the grid down the bottom so that you can show it to your DM online to show them exactly where you're moving to and stuff, and just work out distances for spells and all that sort of stuff. And that material is super strong silicon, as you can imagine. If anybody's used silicon bakeware and stuff knows how good that is. And it just happens to be perfect for dry erase markers. Like a dream. So yeah, I'm very excited about that stuff. And there's the DM screen for your laptop, which is being produced as part of that Kickstarter, as well as one of the stretch goals optional extras that you can add on. Will there be a character sheet size clear silicon sheet? I haven't actually thought of that. There could be, yeah, I suppose so. The other option is you can get just the big clear sheet and cut it into 4 pieces. Or actually, that'll be more than 4, more like 6 or 8 pieces. Thanks, Ralph. What circumstances would Vecna share a beneficial secret with Orcus? How would they try to subvert each other? Could you expand on their breakup? Well, Vecna has always been about himself and his knowledge. Because of his history, he's allied with he's been trained up in the core magic and the original state of the multiverse through one of the primal serpents that taught his mother and taught him. And so he's well aware of the fact that the universe is teetering on the precipice of change, drastic and dramatic change that can wipe everything that's happened in the history of civilizations for thousands of years. So he's fighting to protect that, and also all of his built up of knowledge and things like that. There's the Pact of the Dnd Accord. Dnd Accord? Yeah. Dnd? Yes, the Dnd Accord, which concerns various races like the Rilmani and the Githyanki and various others, that when the universe reshapes itself drastically, thanks to the actions of Yorl or the Spellweavers or various others, they work out what happens with all the magical secrets and where they go. So yeah, something happened in the past where magic got lost or something like that, and yeah, so there's a lot of stuff referenced, and particularly stuff which is coming to light these days, mainly thanks to like Eric Boyd and George Krashos, who are writing supplements and stuff to sort of blow open your minds in regards to cosmology. But as for Vecna and Orcus, Orcus is a demon. He's a demon. He's part of the flaw in the multiverse, and Vecna is fundamentally aligned against Orcus because Orcus is only interested in destruction and total control. Vecna, his total control is more along the lines of, I will protect you from the worst, darkest secrets of the multiverse, because even learning of these things puts you at risk of the effects of them. So I would rather horribly, horribly punish anybody who gets anywhere near these secrets to discourage everyone from getting anywhere near these secrets. Thanks to William. AJ, congratulations on the channel. Have you seen the yellow sign? Yes. No, I have not seen the yellow sign. I don't want to. Lysander, what is your take on radioactive metals in D&D? Does uranium interact weird with magic? Does it have a place in fantasy? Well, I like to think that adamantium is actually like uranium. And there's kind of a reference to that in that it depends on what light you shine on it, whether it's magical light or candlelight, what sort of color sheen comes off it. And that's kind of like a radioactive weirdness to it that I quite enjoy. X-Acto knife is what we use here. Thank you, Adrianus. But I mean, you can include some sort of like sickness from proximity to a metal if you want to. Hello, Rakeland. Thanks, James. Thanks, Bethlaria. I need to put some charts from the DMG on my DM screen, even though I don't currently use a DM screen. Well, this might encourage you to use one. Yep, Mr. L has a crush on both Vecna and Orcus. He's a Daemon? Who's Daemon? Alexander, I started watching you and WebDM back at the beginning, and you turned me on to Mr. X and Jordan. Between the five of you, it's like your Power Rangers or something. Yeah. Yeah, I have huge respect for WebDM. I think their format of like two guys talking about D&D is really good because they have they've got a different vibe from the both of them. And I've got a huge amount of respect for Jim's knowledge. In 4th edition, there was a metal called Orium that seems to say that it was radioactive in some form. Don't forget, also, they had like residuum for like solidified magic and astral diamonds and stuff. And astral diamonds was like a weird currency. That was very strange. The first world from Tarshish. Hail, hail, King in Yellow. Yeah, so the first world may refer to just the last world. There could have been more. Thanks, Moonring. If you were to make new Exeter Chittle gods, what would they be? I would have them actually taken over by another god. I think there should be a vampire god. of some kind. What do you think? Thanks, Bethlaria. Wow. Hey, buddy. Have a great anniversary from your biggest fan in Tasmania. Awesome. Thanks, man. Oh, William expressing his heartfelt dislike of exodatils. Well, phase rest radiation is a little bit different. But yeah, you're kind of right. A lot of their enchantments use phase rest. Go, go, Power Rangers. Brian, that sounds great. Dungeon Meshy, delicious in dungeon. It's about cooking monsters and they treat adamantium like ultra cast iron with great heat retention. Sure. Jimmy, Vecna, Scourge of the World, Protector of the Universe. Vecna did nothing wrong. Nick, thank you. Since deities and patrons and the like are typically conceptual, what is your opinion on players picking older, forgotten D&D entities to follow? I highly encourage it. In fact, that's what I do myself. My current Deep Gnome Cleric / Rogue is a follower of Gelf, who is the brother of Gal Glittergold. And some would say he's evil. I would say he's more of a misunderstood rebel. And that character is very good at converting other people to the faith of Gelf. And they do willingly hand over their precious mementos for him to smash with an anvil in exchange for Gelf's blessings. Demon Inquisition, thank you. After rewatching many of your dragon videos, as one does, I got to thinking about the planar dragons. On that subject, is there a unique dragon native to Limbo? And on the subject of Power Rangers, which Power Ranger are you? I'm not that much of a fan of Power Rangers, but red. Let's say red, because red goes faster. Either that or black Power Ranger. I quite like, because I'm a Kiwi, we all wear black in New Zealand. It's just what we do. Native to Limbo. Limbo is a chaotic realm, so I'm thinking maybe a chaos dragon. Yeah. Something about cosmic dragons and the eggs, maybe, possibly Limbo E as well. Kotoa gods are... Hey, Ag. Kotoa gods are basically just make them up as you go along. I don't think there should be any sort of fixed Kotoa gods, really. Everything that you find in the books should just be like a starting off point. Kind of like that with halflings too. Like they kind of encourage you to have the idea of what the core pantheon and the concepts of what the core pantheon of the halflings would be. But when it comes to actually being in a village with the halflings, their names for their deities and stuff is completely different. There should be vampire gods, right? What were the devs smoking when they listed the brigantine as studded leather? I don't know. Really, it's scale mail, right? Or do they still have Splint in 5th edition? Pink Ranger. Thank you very much, Stephen. Adrianeth. AJ, could there have been vampire gods, but they kept getting locked in domains of dread? Yeah, you're probably right. What's the difference between Gripply and Bullywugs? Gripply are more like frog people, and Bullywugs are more like toad people, basically. And the Grung are more like tree frog, arrow frog people. Vampires probably are alien. Hey, Spike. Snicklegrick for the win. Snicklegrick riding in to rescue everybody on the shoulders of a frost giant, speaking like he was Master from Master Blaster in Thunderdome, was definitely the highlight of my week. Robert Wilson. The pavlova is basically a meringue. It's a meringue that's got cream in the middle of it. I can't eat them because I can't eat egg whites. The Chaos Dragon. That's right, Adrianeth. Hey, welcome to Bronze Dragon. What? Nice to have you. No player expects the Demon Inquisition. That's true. Hey, Aaron Big. Yeah, Howling Dragons are from Pandemonium. I don't really want to encounter them. Pandemonium would be a horrible place. Horrible. Splint is heavy armor in 5th edition. Really? Oh, it's getting a bit smoother. Stephen, wouldn't a vampire god automatically get rid of the curse of vampirism when they ascended? Well, in this particular case, the curse of vampirism is what's becoming a god. Because the original soul of the person is no longer there, so it's actually the vampiric entity, which is animating that person and using their memories and personality as a hunting tool that is being elevated to godhood. But I'm inclined to think that they don't start off as immortal as a vampire god. It's actually the whole thing of them being a primal entity of thirst. And I would be inspired by, what's her name? Anne McCaffrey's? No, not Anne McCaffrey. Anne Rice. Anybody who's read all of the Interview with the Vampire novels all the way to the end would understand what I'm talking about. Vampires suck, by definition. Dishonored Coward. Hang on, what sort of dragon are you? You're not a gold dragon, are you? True. From Google, one of Orcus's titles is Master of Vampires, so would he be the god of vampires? Well, see, it has to be something that vampires have a connection to, and really there's only two things they care about. Well, that is not getting destroyed and having an unlimited supply of blood to feed on. And so really the thirst becomes such an entity in their psyche that it's the core of their being, and that would be kind of like a worship. Do vampire gods drink the blood of other godlike beings? Exactly, Spike. That is why they were able to summon and commune with their own ghosts in What We Do in the Shadows, because their spirits have already left their body. Yep, Akasha from Anne Rice or Kane from World of Darkness. Bethlaria, come on, Mighty Gluestick, what's the best trap? That would be the hollow shit-filled stick, spiked stick, that the kobolds employ. Because getting a stick shoved in you and then pumped full of poo from kobolds is horrible. And it's so simple and extremely cheap. All you need is some wood and a biological process that results in feces. The Hunger from Dresden Files. Ag Silvero, do you think that Gith, Yankee, and Zerai are distantly related to humans? Yes, I think that because that is what they tell us. However, I kind of like my original theories before they actually went and said that. Sometimes you don't like people to confirm things officially. Orcus is not a god, that's true. Oh, Tito, the were dragon is the drow dragon. Also, the were dragon is the song dragon. Song dragons are also or steel dragons are also referred to as were dragons. They're actually dragons, but they spend so much time in humanoid form that people may think that they are were dragons. They're a human that can transform into a dragon. And the other way, it's actually the other way around. Welcome to Silver Dragons, Christopher. I like the Rifts vampires as well. Is there an interplanar space worm? Yes. The answer is always yes. The punji stick, that's the one. Kobolds are brutal. I mean, look who they work for. What do you think would happen if a dragon absorbed a very large number of souls? Why would it? It'd have to do that if it was like maybe undead, right? You stopped at Queen of the Damned, that was so bad. Oh, the movies. No, I'm talking about the books, man. They are good questions, aren't they, Rhetoric? Is it possible that the Illithid are the future of the Aboleth? Yeah. Maybe. You'd have to ask Bruce Cordell that. Actually, he's very approachable. You should flick him a message on Facebook and say, hey, what's the odds that the Illithids are actually the future of the Aboleths? Or the ancient past of the Aboleths? Or around the other way? Thanks, Robert. AJ, I can't find the page anymore, but once found a homebrew race of chaotic good aberrations that look like humans with no face and a toothy maw that traces all over their bodies. Oh, that sounds familiar. Lots and lots of mouths? Yeah, that does sound familiar. I don't know. I think I've seen a picture of it. Oh, you're a copper dragon. You're a little bit antisocial at times in the comments for a copper dragon, but we'll let it slide. Everybody's got their ways. What was my gift theory is that they're actually a future blend. They're a blend of goblinoid and humanoid and elven that the Mind Flayers put together to make a superior slave, essentially. Because it seems like steel dragons are just weebs for humans. Yep. Well, apart from the laughing worm, we're going to have a video on the laughing worm soon, and you'll see why steel dragons are really, really important to the Forgotten Realms. Thank you, Adrianeth. Yep, steel dragons are also weird dragons. It's true. Moonring, thank you. Can I do a video on the tooth bear from 3.5? Possibly. I don't really have enough videos on exotic animals, like animals and stuff, beasts and things. So I want to do more of those. They absolutely do, Mr. Make. Kobolds absolutely serve metallic dragons, yes. And they are on their best behavior when they do so. They become, yes. So here's the thing. I've gone over this before. Kobolds treat others the way that their dragon master expects them to treat them. So if left to their own devices, kobolds treat humanoids as scum and food. So from the humanoids' point of view, the kobolds are evil, chaotic evil in that regard. When they're in the service to a metallic dragon, the metallic dragon instructs the kobolds to behave courteously and with respect to other humanoid creatures. Then the alignment perspective of others changes to what those kobolds are. The kobolds inherently are of a certain alignment in regards to themselves. So amongst themselves, kobolds are lovely. Amongst themselves, humans are lovely. Amongst dwarves are lovely to each other. But alignment really is much more nuanced when you think about it than what the basics of alignment is in the books. And that's one of the reasons I think why they're phasing out alignment a lot, is because it doesn't really match up a lot with the interactions between others being nuanced by their perspective of the other people who are dealing with them. Like your bias towards somebody makes them think of you a certain way and your actions a certain way and your motives that they can perceive a different way. If that made any sense whatsoever. You'll have to excuse me, I'm drinking. Hey, we're past the 1 hour mark. Hey, Demon Inquisition, thank you. I wanted to thank you for educating me on the Ferrous dragons. They are by far my favourite kind of dragons, and I'm currently working on a campaign revolving around them. attempting to return to power. Oh, nice. All thanks to you, AJ. Excellent. Very well written questions, by the way. I can see you're not using speech to text. It's the bane of my existence in the comment section, everybody. Like how many times I try and interpret what Google thinks you've said. Yeah, Ferrous dragons are awesome. They are in Pathfinder, I know, the aberrant race. Oh, nice. Yeah, we've also got the Wandavisions, which I'll be doing a video on at some point. I've got a new list, by the way. Look at this hotness. This is the new list book. So all the suggestions and stuff from people that are definitely going to be made into videos go in here. I also have just a general suggestions book that I pick from, which has got all of the suggestions from people of videos and stuff that they want me to do. And so that, you know, I don't say, yep, I'll do a video on that, and then it's like 3 years later and I make a video on it. I'll try and get them out in a more regular fashion. But, you know, as always, it's my dragon. It's not my dragon. It's my channel, and I'll do what I want. Cheers. I'm definitely getting drunk. Oh. Fey Beastlords. The Tooth Bear are from Tome of Magic, by the way. Excellent. I'm going to write that down, because my brain is a little bit compromised. Tooth Bear. Tome of Magic. Oh, my handwriting is awful. I do actually, I think I've got the Tome of Magic somewhere. Somewhere. Past 1 hour, I made it. This is where it gets interesting. Hey, Michael. Yeah, you just joined me for the bit where I've gotten past the blood-brain barrier, and I'm now getting quite intoxicated. Do Ferrous dragons react to magnets? No, they don't. Thanks, Asher. In my first campaign, a homebrew weapon ended up being a sort of transmute thing, and a captured monster was fired at a green dragon as a squirrel, and has so far been the best event ever. The hell? And you transmuted it as a squirrel and fired it at a green dragon. I can see that. Do you want to organise your videos into playlists so that they're easy to find information on, say, other planes of existence? Actually, that's a good point. I am looking for suggestions from people. If you have a bunch of videos that you think should be in a playlist, email me. So my email is, you can find it on the About page on my channel. And I respond to all of the emails that I get. In fact, that's one of the most reliable ways to get in contact with me and to have a conversation with me about your campaign or ideas or inspiration or suggestions you have for stuff, is just email me. And if you have suggestions on a series of videos that should be in a specific playlist, let me know, because that is something I've been meaning to get around to on my channel, and having those sort of lists for things would be really helpful, because I can't keep track of my 700 odd videos. The Mighty Gluestick is his dragon name. He said it. No, the booze said it, Josh. Drunken Sage mode, yeah. A little tipsy maybe, but definitely looking sharp. Cheers. Thanks, Jeffrey. Now, they're Ferrous dragons because they're named after a certain metal type, but it doesn't mean they're actually composed of that metal. Cold iron weakness. Yeah, that's something that they should really include more in, hands up who thinks that they should include more cold iron vulnerability and stuff in Fey creatures. Because, I mean, when you think about it, vampires have got some pretty easy to access weaknesses, and so you can kind of ramp up the difficulty of the vampires if you don't know what those weaknesses are. Same thing should be true of the Fae. The Fae should have more power because they're from a realm of high magic, right? But also those vulnerabilities, like not being able to cross over a circle of salt, for instance. You know, that really puts a damper in their plans. Get an intern. Okay, so Stan suggested that I'm auditioning for interns. We need some acolytes of the channel, sub-sages. I was wondering why everybody was raising their hand. I forgot what I said. Nice. Okay, I'm definitely going to do that more often. Yeah, so that means Ferrous dragons aren't scared of rust monsters, that's true. Apart from when they go near their horde. I mean, okay, what's more terrifying to a Fey creature would be a manticore, because manticores actually have iron in their nails and claws and spikes that they hurl. They eat iron and, you know, excrete it like those slugs that are around the deep ocean vents that have ferrous iron extracted from their bodies, exuded. So manticores would be absolute murder if you threw them into the Feywild. Thankfully, or kind of unfortunately, manticores are obsessed with eating humans. Yeah, cold iron is just what? It's just heated up, melted, and poured out iron. It's not steel. Hi, Tia Lisa. You could have it that, like, if you're a Fey creature that is invulnerable to most regular weapons apart from magical weapons, you could just say that an iron weapon actually counts as a magical weapon. But, like, most swords and things like that would also count as cold iron, I think. Yeah, cold iron feels like it's getting less and less importance because I think mainly because people don't understand what cold iron actually is. Metallic dragon scales are just infused with the magical properties of magic. Yep, and elemental power. I don't know either. Just raise hand. You call dibs on elf sage? Yeah, I'm learning elf stuff. Rust monsters and dragon hordes, yeah. Oh. Thanks, Bim. Could you have a mayonnaise, a bean dragon? What? Your whole D&D setting revolves around fairies. Well, GGB, you should be an expert on cold iron. Take a rust dragon to a manticore fight. Yep, that'd mess them up. Aren't wolfware afraid of iron? I don't know. You have to appreciate the idea of the Iron Dragon leader choke slamming a red dragon. Vent Bacteria Dragon. Note to self, sent a manticore into the Feywilds. Yep, what have I done? I've destroyed the Feywild as we know it. And you wonder why I Tressum hate manticores. Yep. It's just iron, right? More importantly, why don't Eladrin have an allergy to iron? They should do, right? Like, it should at least be like their kryptonite. So if they're surrounded by iron, they would be really uncomfortable. Get sickly, like, they're not getting enough vitamin D. Thomas, you should read the basic D&D supplement, PC1 Creature Crucible Tall Tales of the Wee Folk. It expands the Fae. Yeah. Thanks, the Great League. Cold iron should be steel because of the high concentrations of carbon in it. Cold damage. And iron or wrought iron should cause fire damage. I think that's a bit broad. Like, I do agree that iron or wrought iron, because wrought iron is really what we're talking about, right? With cold iron. Isn't that right? Mainly because, like, back in the day, back in the medieval times, they would have wards and things that kept the supernatural creatures away, and they would be things that were readily available to them in the area that they lived in. So it's no point somebody saying that the way to ward off vampires is frankincense, because, like, who's got frankincense in medieval, Northumberland? But you got plenty of garlic and lots of rivers. A Sage Apprentice thing. Oh, yeah, that could work. Oh, you want to be dips? Oh, I see. Yeah. Yep. Well, you've got the title already, William. It's true. Yeah, cast iron pots and nails. Exactly. Like the stuff that they basically just work at a forge. That's cold iron. So, like pots and pans and horseshoes and nails and hinges and things like that. Cold iron. Yeah, wolfware should be vulnerable to silver, I'd imagine. Hey, how to D&D? How's it going, Frederick? Exit's our digital consultant. Moonring's definitely got that. Can a Fay become a Warlock? Absolutely yes. Rudyard Kipling was the poet that created the term, was he? Hey, Shakespeare, you're in Maine. Cooking a seafood Alfredo, haddock, shrimp, and scallops. Haddock? We would use probably cod instead of haddock over here, or maybe gurnard. An iron dragon tricked into eating charcoal turns into a stupid steel dragon. Steel dragons aren't stupid. Could you have a mayonnaise dragon? No. The Fae and Exalted are a good example in fiction. Oh. Thanks, Jimmy. If we're trying to become sages, I'll be the Candlekeep janitor. How about the keeper of the larder of cheese? Oh, I'm going to lay off the booze for a second. If you need to catch a fairy, I will use the salt-laced butterfly net with a cold iron handle. The butterfly net part is from the Fairy Odd Parents. Ah! Hey, Matt. Hey, AJ, been a while since I caught you live. Just wanted to say thanks on behalf of the missus and I. Your videos have been keeping us sane during the late nights feeds with our newborn. Ah! Well, hopefully I've been infusing your spawn with lots of D&D lore deep into the cockles of their subconscious so that later it will expand and become the basis of their personality, and eventually they will create great wonders such as possibly a good D&D movie. Is it too much to hope for? I personally am an optimist, and I see the star lineup of the possible D&D movie. I think I could all fall apart at any moment in today's cancel culture Twitterverse. But from what I've seen so far, they're all quality actors. I'm more interested in who the director and writer thingy will be, and I'll be very worried if like it keeps a script keeps going back for being rewritten and stuff like that. I think one of the real problems of Hollywood at the moment and movies in general is that they're compelled as executives to make as much money from their budget as that they've been assigned as they possibly can. And of course, all the money right now is in China and India, mostly China. China's the movie market, because India and places like that where they have like a lot of ethics police. That's why Bollywood movies are very like safe and there's no sex and stuff in them. There's lots of romance, but there's no like titties and blood and gore violence that we have in Western stuff. So it's going to be a D&D movie that's got a double-edged problem. One, it's got an existing fan base of people who have got a very specific idea of what this very nebulous thing called D&D is. And two, it's going to an audience that doesn't play Dungeons and Dragons tabletop sit-down role-playing games, because like it's considered gambling apparatus. If you have dice and things like that, they get seized by the Chinese government. So it's tricky. But I think there's a huge chunk of China which is pretty much ready for D&D. Like they'd be amenable to the idea of D&D. So for them, it's all about like mobile games and board games and like computer games, like that sort of stuff. I don't know if they've got a lot of tabletop role-playing games going on in China, but I'd like to know. So if you are from China and you are watching this somehow, let me know. Oh god, not another enchanted ink spill. What? It's the 700th anniversary of Dante's death. Will Wizards of the Coast issue a special Bartor edition guide? God, that would be awesome. Actually, a little bit of respect for the culture and traditions that has brought these mythologies and things that D&D has ripped off for years. Is it too much to ask? Possibly. How much of actual Greek myth is in the mythic odysseys of Ferrous? 0. I think she recognizes your voice from in utero videos. It's awesome. Yeah, I mean, Jeremy Irons, what were they thinking of casting Jeremy Irons? I know he was a hot property at the time, and so were the Wayans brothers and stuff, but like, oh. And of course, that was a long time ago. Like, look at the orcs that they had in the taverns and things like that. Look at the dwarf they had and things. So it was during a time when D&D could not be taken seriously in the mainstream. Now it's taken more seriously, and we've got like the potential of Dungeons and Dragons being like an MCU almost. I mean, not to the same extent, but potentially we could make D&D really fucking cool for people. Look at Will Smith and Bright, for instance. That's pretty good. I mean, that movie has got orcs and elves and magic. I mean, it's D20 modern. It's basically that could have been whatchamacallit, the modern world, but there's trolls and cyberpunk. No, what's the name of that thing? That game, that RPG game. I can't remember. I'm too drunk. Sam Cross, thank you. Sam Gross. AJ, what is your take on the concept of Gonadau and Jubilex being pieces of the same entity, or possibly one being a mask for the other? I am in full agreement with it. In fact, I'm quite often worried that I'm the only one who thinks that, or I was the origin of that theory. But no, I think it's actually confirmed. The D&D movie should kill a main character off halfway through, and then in the next scene have that character replaced by a new character played by the same actor. Yeah, I've seen that joke. That's a good one. What is it with you and boobs today, Mr. L? It's true. Throw in a busty half-orc. Throw in some furries. Throw in some tieflings, man. Let's sexy up D&D, shall we? Bitchmel. AJ's wrong. Ferrous has 0.1% Greek myth. I stand corrected. The blue lipstick. Oh, dear God. Yeah. Shadowrun, thank you. I actually thought Bright was okay, but again, I'm an optimistic person and I like watching fantasy movies regardless. So my suspension of disbelief when I go into movies also distances me from existing franchises. So I go and watch a Star Trek movie on its own merits. I go and watch a Star Wars movie on its own merits. Hugely enjoyed the Clone Wars series and stuff like that. I like Rebels. I like all that stuff. It's actually surprising that I'm not into anime, but the main reason why I'm not really into anime is I just don't like that formulaic art style. I just don't like it. I can forgive it for Studio Ghibli movies because they are just awesome. But I don't connect with anime on a experiential level. Like the writing for anime and the characters in anime, their personality types are not people that I meet. I'm not familiar with them. I don't meet people who think like that. I don't empathize with those characters because they're not real. The personalities of anime characters are as cartoonish as the drawings. So I don't empathize with it at all. It's like, okay. It's like, this anime is about vampires with sunglasses. Boring. Next. This movie is about teenage angst and giant robots against angels of God, and it ends in a strange existential white screen. Boring. Next. Like, if you watched Akira, you've watched half of anime. Who needs a D&D movie when the Critical Role show is coming? Well, I guess they'll make their own movie. Always need a tiefling. Ruby, I'm too drunk. Maybe. What's your opinion on the 3rd edition challenge rating system as compared to the 5th edition? I think that they are... I've said this before, that the challenge rating system is a guidepost only. It doesn't actually apply because characters automatically break the rules of balance. So it doesn't really apply. Yeah, I tend to agree with you, Brian, from what I've seen of it. Hey, Sinsu. Where is he? Not just Forgotten Realms, but I would love to see the Ravenloft and vampire Ravenloft novel Vampires of the Mist be made into a movie. Hey, Kiaro. Hot takes. Berserk. Yeah, Berserk was okay. Goblin say, yeah, look, I know everybody's going to start suggesting to me to go and watch their favourite anime. No. I'm just... No. No. Did I just reference Hellsing Ultimate? When I say vampires with sunglasses, how many animes about vampires being cool and techno savvy just popped into your consciousness, right? How many of those shows do you need? Look, I'm not bagging anime. I'm saying it's not for me. I'm not saying that automatically makes it bad, right? I'm saying I'm disadvantaged when it comes to anime because I can't enjoy it at the same level you can. So, I'm sorry. That was the entire idea, Mr. Eccentric. I must like anime. Yeah, it's kind of like that. It's like, how can you be part of our geekdom and not like at least some anime? I just told you I liked Akira. No, I don't really like Ghost in the Shell either. One-dimensional characters. I'm an ex-soldier who's now a cyborg. Okay. What's your favourite colour? Bullets. Cowboy Bebop is, again, just characters being cool. Documentary series for D&D like the history of Neverwinter or biology of the ecosystem to the Underdark. Yeah, that's pretty much my forte. Characters with high-pitched voices turn me away. Ever see Wizards by... Yes! Yes, I think so. I think I have seen that one. Yeah, look, I mean, Cowboy Bebop is, like, it doesn't need my opinion of it to be great. It's obviously great. It's well-known, famous anime. It's a benchmark that you judge you compare other things to it. So I'm not saying that anime is bad as an art form. That's like me saying, cubism's like not for me. It's terrible. No, people obviously like cubism. They like abstract artwork. That sort of thing. It's just not for me. The Dnd Official Cookbook. Yes, I have. It is right here. I really like it. Troll-tired candied apples. Beautiful, sumptuous artwork. Delicious feasts that you can prepare in your own home. And I highly encourage you to try out cooking some of these recipes, just for the simple fact that it would encourage you to actually cook. Oh yeah, that's something that I haven't watched. I haven't watched all of the Robotech cartoons. I'd watch them just, for completeness. This is going to follow you now. You've activated the weebs. I do say weebs far too often, it's true. I know some people are actually triggered by that, like an insulting thing, but for me it's more like a term of endearment, honestly. Whoa. Toxic Okami. AJ, if they do away with alignment, what will replace it? Nothing. You role-playing your character. That's what you replace it with. Basically, your bonds, your goals, your like keyword of your character, that sort of thing. We've got enough technology from role-playing orientated games that have those sort of keywords and stuff, like with not GURPS, the other one, Fate, right? The way you construct your character's key points, that you can do that. You can cross that over into D&D, and it replaces. Heartbroken, AJ. Oh, come on. Look, I mean, what I'm really handing you on a silver platter is the opportunity to change my mind and hand me the perfect anime. Like, there's got to be the perfect anime out there for somebody who says that they don't like anime. It's your mission in life now to find a thing that will change my mind. I wouldn't say. Well, yeah. I mean, it's the overall feeling, the vibe was a D&D cookbook, but they actually did a really good job on it, I have to say. And I've read many cookbooks because I come from a kitchen family, like we all cook in my family. So yeah. Googling weebs. Seriously, Sir William? I don't consider the word weeb offensive. Yeah, no, it shouldn't be. It's a subculture. It's a subgenre of a culture. Yeah, it's only an insult if it's used as an insult. Exactly. Weeble desu. I probably speak more Japanese than I could probably pull off being a weeb. Oh, I like Dragon Ball. I like Dragon Ball Z. Yep. There you go. I like Dragon Ball. Because Dragon Ball doesn't try and take itself seriously. So the artwork of Dragon Ball perfectly fits the subject matter of Dragon Ball. It's like ridiculous, over-the-top superhero martial arts, spiritualism, aliens. It's got what's not to love. Yeah, I hear that the Southern Cross season didn't have as good anime as this first season and the Invid season. But yeah, I'll watch it. And what's the other one? Battleship Yamamoto. Like, I'd like to see more live action Japanese sci-fi stuff, and we're getting a lot more of that these days. Like the Chinese film industry is really kicking off. What? You eat your family? No, we're a restaurant family. Like, we owned a restaurant. I grew up in a kitchen cooking, so everyone in my family cooks. I'll go on record and say that anything by Studio Ghibli is fantastic. We study that at university in communications class. Yeah, Dragon Ball. You're trying to be wrong. Exactly. Well, that was quick, wasn't it? So I like Studio Ghibli. I like Dragon Ball. I like... Studio Ghibli. Apart from Grave of the Fireflies. Oh, brutal. Studio Ghibli. Princess Mononoke. Howl's Moving Castle. What else? Oh, the one with the giants that are attacking like bastions of humanity behind huge walls and stuff. That one's interesting. And what's the other one? The one with Evangelion is okay, but like Evangelion is like, you watch it because it's got these giant battles and big robots and stuff. That's great. So it's all right. Space Battleship Yamamoto, fantastic. But So William, no, just email me and I'll give you my address if you want to send me stuff. Yeah, the reaction to me saying I like Dragon Ball. No, don't like that one. You like the wrong thing. It's like, ha ha. Attack on Titan. Yeah, that one. It's an anime stream now. Yeah, we've gone full anime. I watched a lot of Berserk, but then it was just like, what was the original point of Berserk? Was he supposed to be like saving Earth from evils? Like, who's actually fighting the ghosts? Who's fighting the ghosts? They're just fighting each other now. What? Cannibal giants, yeah. That's the big problem with anime. A few gems in a pile of steaming turds. I've been subjected to too many steaming turds. Oh boy, that's a screen capture. Hey, Emiliano. Oh, RIP your inbox. Akira, Cowboy Bebop, and Berserk are your favourites. Mm-hmm. Goku or Vegeta? Vegeta all day. Dude, I worked with a guy who named whose child's middle name was Vegeta. Does Voltron count as anime? Yes, it does, and I like Voltron too. How could I not? It's got Reese Darby. Have I ever read the Sword of Truth series? Oh, is that like Legend of the Seeker? And so much as it's got like monsters and stuff that you can use, sure. And of course, any fantasy series that you like, you should examine the storylines and stuff or why you like it. Full Metal Alchemist has got its moments for sure, like the bit where the dude is trying to create an intelligent hybrid thingy, and he uses like those raw materials. No spoilers. Ugh, that was good. Recent Voltron is awesome. Yeah. Hey Spike, I went to, like, early on in his career, before he was ever on any TV shows or anything, I went to his stage show, which was just like a one-man, one-microphone show of him saying, like, telling the story of how he became the dance champion of Taranaki. It's like an hour and a half, 2-hour long show with him basically telling this made-up story. Fucking so funny. Do dwarves like Marmite? I think they probably would, yeah. Oh, Netflix's Castlevania. Oof. See, Afro Samurai is cool. That's legitimately cool. Yeah, come on, look, it's okay to like Dragon Ball Z. Right, Ian. Yeah. I've watched a fair bit of anime because I'm bombarded by people trying to get me to like the same anime they like. And I understand why. Nothing personal, it's just revenge. What would you feel like about a new Barovian D&D book? I was never really into Ravenloft in the first place. I can understand why it's fun, and how it brings like Lovecraftian elements into D&D in a succinct way, so you can play a Ravenloft campaign separate from everything else. So I like the idea of it. You can have those horror themed games that are sort of separate from things, kind of like the way that they've brought in the Planeswalker stuff as it's a separate multiverse. So you can play in Ravnica, you can play in Ferrous, but it's not part of Forgotten Realms, like, you know. And there's a lot of people who are like, "Ugh, Forgotten Realms just eats up everything." Sure, but you know, you should be happy that there's a separation. There's a big separation between Forgotten Realms and the Magic the Gathering stuff. Edward, oh, I know that was creepy. Rhys Darby is a national treasure. It's true. Oh, Venture Brothers. Where can I go and watch all of the Venture Brothers? I think that's what I should do. I should carry on drinking after this stream and watch lots of Venture Brothers cartoons whilst writing about Ratatosk, because that kind of fits when you think about it. Yeah, Venture Brothers will never die because it will always be in syndication. Or at least we can hope. Congrats on surviving 3 years of this. I love doing this, honestly. This is my chance to like touch base with you guys and just talk about stuff. What? See, for questions like that, what kind of TV shows do you think elves would watch? They would watch like Antique Restoration Roadshow. Oh, Antique Roadshow and restoration shows where they restore old like artwork and stuff. They would watch like those slow journey films, like, you know, take a passage on like a train and they film the entire train ride, that sort of thing. They'd probably really enjoy that. Long, slow, boring shit. They'd probably love that. But also, they would listen to a lot of music. They'd be fascinated with like all of the like YouTube music scene and all that sort of stuff. Different art forms like techno and like Daft Punk. Thanks, Robert. I want to get back to D&D. So how do good aberrations socialize with other races when they are so alien? Tricky that. Like, put yourself in your shoes trying to interact with them, like on their own terms. How would you interact with non-humanoid races, who, like even shapeshifters and things like that? Like, how would you deal with that? So they have the same sort of problems dealing with us that we have dealing with them. So it's really a matter of empathy. So what you do is you reverse the situation in your head and try and imagine you're trying to interact with them on their terms. And then you'd flip it back again, and like with that newfound understanding, now you understand why it's so difficult for them to adapt. Like for shapeshifters, how much of their communication between each other is physical form communication? If you can just express directly what you're talking about by manifesting it with your body to the other. Or maybe they've got some sort of a shorthand where they just touch each other, exchange the topographic information of the thing they're talking about, so that the other thing could understand, like, oh, I see. I could become that with the information you'd just given me. So you never know. Hey, Janchivik. Yeah, elves would definitely watch the Edinburgh videos, and they'd get all upset about like extinctions and stuff. Hulu. Oh, okay. I don't think I have access to Hulu. Thanks, Kinnick. What would you expect the magic beans from Jack and the Giant Beanstalk to taste like? Like regular beans. Probably broad beans. Whoa. Hulu. Thanks, Adrianeth. Stephen, no. No, we don't say that. Jimmy, thank you. They watch Days of Our Lives. Yeah, they're probably into that. They'd watch Spanish soap opera. Whoa, Redrick the Entertainer, thank you very much. Okay, AJ, idea time. Thune equals Elithad's making a far realm entity into a god through multiple elder brain believing in Thune. Yeah. I think you're on the right track there. For sure. Because there's that obsessiveness of the cult of Thune. And the thing that you can have a lot of fun with the Elithids is because they're an artificial species, they're created, right? They're self-created, and they're created also and controlled by the elder brains. Why would they not experiment with that format and try and perpetually improve their species, make themselves different and better? Because there's all these different variations of what can the tadpoles actually seromorphosize. What show would the Exeter channel watch? I don't know, the Goldfish channel. Probably nature documentaries involving sea stuff. Me personally, I would never watch TV. I would watch YouTube, high charisma hosts, and people to interact with. Exactly. Interactive television is the way to go. Thanks, Norok. Naoki Urasawa's Monster is an amazing psychological thriller. Okay. Yeah, would long-lived races have insanely long bingeable shows? I think so. Drow would wear their hentai merchandise openly, yeah. Elves would be getting caught up on Doctor Who. Mm-hmm. What? Venture Bros is streaming on TVNZ? Really? We have a terrible history of airing shows out of order on in TVNZ. Drow and Gal sweaters. Okay. Like, you would know the Drow have been to Earth if there's like one walking around in like Scooby-Doo outfits, but it's like sexy Scooby-Doo outfits. Giant pinto beans or kidney beans? Fun fact. The same beans have got different names in different countries. I got new shelves, Darkstrider. It's true. Yeah, I upgraded to a metal set of shelves. Finally. Oh, I've never heard of that one, Lysander. I'll look it up on Google on my own time, in the privacy of my own home. I think humans would love this channel. Yeah, I think so too. See you later, Miss Eccentric. Thank you. You have to host a party. I hope you had a few drinks with me beforehand. Oh, that was a bad idea. I totally agree with you, Phil. Dwarves would watch those storage unit shows just screaming at the TV. Absolutely. They'd also watch like those opal miners in the outback of Australia and the guys who are like, you know, trying to mine for gold and stuff, just screaming at the TV as well. And also the shows where they're like ice road truckers and where they're rescuing like overturned trucks on out in Canada. They'd watch those shows as well. What's a horsepower? I don't know. The elves have seen all of One Piece. The Encountermancer, what do you do to make your videos sound so good? Wow, it's the first time I've actually been complimented on my sound. I listen to everybody who complains about the sound of my videos, and I try to do better. Basically, it comes down to having the microphone positioned at a certain point so that your voice is actually within the pickup range of the microphone, and not messing with it, really. AJ, Dark Secret of the Bees. Would love to see you do a one-shot or something. There's actually some archived one-shots on my channel, as far as I know, back in the ye olde past. No, I don't have a fish tank. I've got a fish pond with free-ranging goldfish in it. And like pond weed and snails and stuff in there. Yeah, elves would cry when they find out that an animal is endangered. They'd be like, what does endangered mean? It's like, well, there's a chance that it will be actually go extinct. What does extinct mean? It's like no more of them left because of their environment being destroyed. The elves would be like, grab their bow. Gnomes watch How It's Made, yeah. Halflings, cooking and gardening shows, obviously. Home and garden. Yep, well, the old shelves have been retired to the garage where they're now collecting Mum's preserved fruits. Would druids watch Steve Irwin? No, they'd probably be pissed off with Steve Irwin, the way like he carries on. What shows would Sardaras watch? Anything with a lot of travel, seeing new places, food and wine and stuff, like sort of traveling celebrity chef shows. They'd probably quite like that. And also MMA. Like, yep. Thanks, hello, barista. Ah, Thomas. there's actually 2 ponds that are connected by a little channel down the middle, so they are actually free roaming. They do free range. Also, there's some frogs which come up from the pond down below, which is a natural pond down in our orchard. And I quite often toy with the idea of taking some goldfish down to the pond down below, but I'm not sure that would be legal because they are technically a carp type fish. What would a lich watch? Anything informational, you know. Steve Irwin would be an awkward show to watch for the Exeter Chittles. Yeah, hard. Yeah. The droids would be like, you know what that crocodile is actually saying to Steve right now? So true. What's the most kung fu thing in D&D? I like kung fu David Carradine and Bruce Willis. Actually, I was talking about this before. Between Fay and Damara, there's a whole, like, and also like around that mountain range that goes into the Endless Wastes. That's your kung fu western area, like all of that. And along the far north, there's monasteries peppered around the place, and but in that particular section of the world, there's a lot of kung fu traveling, you know, kung fu masters and that sort of stuff, and like the fights between monasteries for pride and all that sort of stuff. There's a lot of that goes on. Yeah, the Quickling's got like 4 TVs. He's playing like Pac-Man on high speed. Okay, calm down. Yeah, no, I'm not going to release goldfish down. Like, the pond isn't connected to anything. It's not connected to a river or anything. But there's always the possibility that if there's like a flood or something, that the goldfish could get out. But then again, they'd only be trailing like rapidly towards the sea. So, you know. But nah, I'll just keep them in the. They're perfectly happy in the pond. Every now and then, somebody comes along and grabs some of them. But they are breeding happily. We have about 6 or 7 babies every year. What kind of orchard? Well, we've got a lot of different fruit trees. We've got cherimoyas, we've got peaches, we've got walnuts, we've got apples, we've got oranges, we've got lemonades, we've got lemons. We have berries, blackberries and currants. We've got passion fruit. We've got feijoas. And we have an entire orchard which is run by a local packing shed of kiwi fruit. So, yeah. And in New Zealand, we don't call them kiwis. We call them kiwi fruit. It's like, that's their name. Kiwis are the birds. And they're actually a Chinese gooseberry. Are there any good liches out there? Yeah, there's the Chinese... Sorry, not Chinese. There's the elven liches, which are ostensibly good. But all liches draw more from the environment than they give, so they're an entropic force. So sometimes the reason why the liches exist is worth the loss of life, vital energy and vitality, but they're always a net negative draw on the multiverse. So they accelerate entropy, always. And that is evil. It's anything that takes away life is evil, right? Kennick, thank you. If you assume each class branches of an archetype of some other class, what order do you think they come about in? Oh. Well, you would basically go through the history of the game and figure out which class came first. So our core would be the fighter, the wizard, the cleric, and the thief. And then from the cleric would be the priest. And then from the priest you get basically the druid and the monk, and then you have the paladin, and then you have the cavalier. From the fighter you have the ranger, and I think possibly maybe the paladin and the cavalier came from that as well. I'm not entirely sure. And from the thief, you had essentially the rogue, the assassin, the acrobat, that sort of stuff. And of course, from wizard, you get warlock and sorcerer and all that sort of stuff. So it all branches off from there. Steel dragons watch anime. Yeah, probably. What if you feed them negative people? Hell Knights, Nazagons still around? Probably. Man, I've really got to get back to my my demons list as well. Hey, it's time for me to go, everybody. We've got another 6 minutes of me finishing off this alcohol here. Oh. I better eat something after this. Last minute for any questions. Can a lich survive on an undead diet? Well, some of the undead do actually contain their souls. So yeah, you could. You got 99 problems, but a lich ain't one. Oh, could a lich survive on just deep spawn? Do individual deep spawn have souls? I suppose, maybe? Tricky question. Yes. Yes, I'm going to say that a deep spawn copy of an intelligent sentient being could be used by a lich to feed a soul into their phylactery. Yes. How to get a dragon drunk. Do a shot at the end so we can all do one with you to toast another 3 years. Okay. Oh, shit. All right. Do undead poop? Only if they eat. Here's to me finding something to distract everyone so I don't have to drink this. Here's to, although it's very tasty, but it's very, very strong. Here's to another 3 years of live streams. Here's to a successful year for everyone and us coming out of this nightmare we've been subjected to for the last 12 months. Here's to a more aware world, a more prepared world, and here's to unity and just being geeks together. Cheers. Oh. Peer pressure at its finest. Woo. My favourite cleric, well, the one that I'm running at the moment for Gelf is, he's pretty cool. Otherwise, I quite often like just a Lathander or a Sunni priest. Sunni's fun. Or a priest of Shah, maybe. Get a bit edgy. It's very strong. It's very strong. Look at, yeah, I'm in no state to run a game right now. I'm going to end up with like a whiskey voice if I keep doing this. All right, thank you, everybody. Catch you next weekend. Hot tea, yeah. Yeah. You're right. There's been a lack of cheese lately. That's true. I do actually have some double cream brie in the fridge right now. Put a hair on my liver. Absolutely. All right. So next up videos will be the Ratatosk, and what have I got coming up? For a podcasty episode, I've got Perils of the Ancient Empires. So if you're actually investigating ruins of the Netheril in Anarok Desert or ruins of the Amaskari out beyond Mulhorund, I'll be inspiring you with ideas for traps and perils that you can find. Video on the Ripplebark, Lost Dwarf Holds, Pyramids of Asgore, Spellweavers, the Rhaegar, Fire Newts, Bardic Magic, Ganadarians, and the Ratatoska are coming up, with additions or subtractions as I see fit. Fiendworm, maybe. Yeah, I'm going to go eat something. Catch you later, guys.